Hey everybody, hey, welcome back to the 53206 cast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Meg.
And this is a podcast, Meg.
It is.
It's a podcast. This is a podcast about, today's a podcast about We Got This.
Yeah.
Today was the 9th week of 12.
Yeah, and I always want to preface that We Got This is a community garden over on 9th and Ring. We Got This has, how many kids came out today?
I didn't count yet, but it's at least 150.
So We Got This for 12 Saturdays in the summer has kids come out to improve their neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
They get paid $20, and yeah, we're on the leadership team, and we think that it's just an incredible program, and that's why we talk about it.
Yes, I would agree. And a lot of times there's things that we learn either about the neighborhood or about the community or lessons that we were able to maybe instill into a child. Meg, what stood out to you today? Oh, before we get to that.
Yeah.
Meg, I used to be a math teacher.
You did.
And man, when I remember when I was in high school, our high school had an outdoor track and it had an indoor track.
Whoa, fancy.
I know. In the field house. We had a track in the field house.
Okay.
I remember I was probably like a sophomore in high school.
Okay.
And they would have us run laps in the field house.
Okay.
And I hated running laps. I don't know that I liked running laps more in the field house or outside.
It's so boring to run inside. I mean, I would rather run outside than inside.
Sure.
Yeah.
I didn't have a strong preference, but the track was like a 1/10 of a mile on the inside. So, they would say, okay, we're going to run 15 laps, something like that.
Yeah.
So, because I was good at math, and then I became a math teacher, I think about in that example, like the amount of laps in like a percentage of being completed.
Okay.
So if you do 5 laps, you're a third of the way done with 15.
Yeah.
Or if you do 10, you're 2/3 of the way. Mm-hmm. And so today we are 75% done with the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a long-winded way of telling you that we're 75% of the way done.
Yeah.
Meg, what stood out to you today from the garden?
Well, my group went over to the flower farm, and I thought it was great. I love when the kids are able to try new things. So the tomatoes were ready. So we were trying the cherry tomatoes, which I feel like is an easy, if you're not a vegetable connoisseur, a cherry tomato is a pretty easy way into liking vegetables because it's sweet. Okay. It's very sweet. It's yummy. It's small.
I don't know that I've ever really eaten one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What? I'm trying to get all these kids to eat them, and my own husband has not eaten one.
They're probably fine.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So that was just really nice. I also had a lot of fun. So last week my group was very large, and we did not do a good job with the trash cleanup. So I thought this week we're going to do more planting. There's still, it was really funny because one of the kids was reading on the back of the label, and she's like, this won't bloom for 70 days. Will there still be enough, is there enough time in the season to have this bloom? And I was like, great question.
That is a good question.
We are planting these today, and not next week, not the week after, because there's still, there's still a chance that this will bloom in time, before the frost. But it was neat because like I said, it was another, we were doing a lot of planting. And some of the kids were, especially the 8th grade girls, were like, oh, this is boring. I don't want to do this. So I was like, okay, we're going to do this. This is not an hourly thing. This is a project-based.
In terms of work.
Yeah. So I was like, this is a project-based task. So all you have to do is plant all the seeds in your seed packet.
Okay.
And so it was funny because, I was giving out sunflower packets, and then one of the kids was like, can I have a smaller seed packet? And I was like, great idea. So that was fun. And then I did have a few of the kids who ended up getting paid extra that, continued to weed, continued to plant, continued to water. So, it's just, I feel like it's fun seeing the kids, what they are into, what they like doing. And, that a lot of them are really starting to learn like what a plant is and what a weed is, and that's just always it's always nice to have more people know what that is and what, so that I don't always have to continually tell them, you just pulled out a sunflower.
Oh yeah.
Which we replant. Exactly. That's fine. It's not a big deal.
You figure it out.
Yeah. So I feel like it was a good day. We unfortunately were sitting to do we stopped early to do our circle time, and all of a sudden somebody was like, "There's a fire over there," and I was like, "Oh, the fire trucks are coming. I feel like they're gonna have to go attend to this."
They did, and actually, so today, one of the things we had yoga today. Really nice group, probably 40 kids.
Nice.
35, 40 kids did yoga, which was fantastic. And then the second special event of the day was the fire truck was going to come. So the fire truck came, real nice guys at the fire truck.
Yeah.
Talked to them, and the little kids got to go in the fire truck.
Yeah.
And as I'm like talking to some little kid about, talk to the firefighter about what it's like to be a firefighter, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I get a phone call and they say, "Hey, Alex, I think there's a building on fire."
Yeah.
Which, not, I don't know why I'm getting a
who was calling you?
One of the other adults.
Okay.
Adult leaders, which, man, thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
We could call, but
we could call 911.
And maybe they
Yeah.
Maybe they already had. It was pretty close.
I think it was on like 12th or 13th.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what street it was on, but it was close enough.
Yeah,
where
we saw it.
Yeah, one of the groups was doing trash cleanup, like right by there.
Yeah.
And but then so I get this phone call, and then I turn around and I see, because I can see the smoke.
Yeah.
And I am like talking to the firefighter.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Like at the same time, I'm like, "Hey, I'm pretty sure there's like a big fire over there."
Yeah.
And he comes and looks, and he's like, "Yeah, we gotta go." So they hadn't even gotten a call yet.
Wow.
About it. So
that's crazy.
It very, very quick. And actually, you know what? I probably had maybe my timeline isn't totally right, but very, very quickly.
Yeah.
They were able to respond to it, which was great.
Yeah.
It was a little funny because there were like 4 7-year-olds in the fire truck as we're like getting ready to go. But I think that was, I mean, it wasn't cool because house fires are never great.
Yeah.
And they do happen way more predictably.
How much more predictably?
I think it's like 3 to 4 times more. There are 3 to 4 times as many house fires in 53206 as other zip codes in the city. So we deal with our fair share of house fires here. So but the firefighters were great about it. They got the kids out of there.
Okay.
The kids, it sounds a little weird, but they were excited that they were going off to fight a fire.
Yeah.
Which I suppose is kind of neat. The ideal scenario would have been no fire and they get to stay.
Yeah.
Well, but that's always a risk you take when you have the fire truck out. They are still on duty.
And I was bummed too because one of the kids in my group was really excited to meet them because he really wants to be a firefighter. And he was an older kid, and I was like, "Oh, this would be great. You could ask him, what classes you should take in high school." And so that's okay. But
yeah, because a lot of that stuff's not obvious. I couldn't tell you how to get your name on a list to go to firefighter school. I have no idea. So yeah, that would have been neat, but I'm sure they'll be back.
Yeah.
They said they would come back if there was nothing.
Okay.
And they did not come back.
And we saw them
fighting the fire.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
mean, we were not close enough. We were probably half a block away, but we saw the fire truck and we saw them getting out and we saw them setting everything up. Okay. So.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting, exciting. Yeah. Not in a good way, but exciting.
Yeah. So. Yeah. What was neat for you today, or what do you have to say?
Well, I like this, being 75% of the way done. I have just a very different perspective probably than everybody else, except maybe the lunch ladies. I feel like the lunch ladies might have a similar perspective. And by the way, if you're a listener and you want to be a lunch lady or lunch man.
Yeah, we do have a few lunch men.
We do have some lunch men. You just show up. You just show up on a Saturday from 8 to noon, and we'll get you plugged in.
Yeah.
They can always use an extra hand. Plus, it's fun.
It is fun.
I feel like it is fun.
Yeah.
But I do think I have a slightly different perspective because I interact with all of the groups.
Mm-hmm.
I am sort of just, kind of organizing things. One of the other adult leaders called me and said, "Hey, we just planted some flowers in the ground, and could we get something to mark this off?" So I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll figure out how to do that."
That's great.
And Dex drove that over on the tractor.
Where did they plant it? I'm just curious.
By the liquor store.
Nice. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so a couple other things by the liquor store.
Great.
And she'll manage all that. It's nothing. You don't have to do anything else with that. But but the perspective is a little different. So you kind of ask like, well, what did I notice or what has stood out? What has stood out to me is even if one of the adults might say, well, my group was hard today. Overall, the bar has been steadily raised throughout the summer. And I feel like, you still get a couple of kids that struggle to meet the bar. But there aren't kids that struggle to meet the bar that don't eventually come around.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about the little girl that, you and I were talking to at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't like to brag about this, Meg, but I probably have made, I don't know, 300 kids cry in my life.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm not bragging about it. It's not like,
wow.
I'm not like, oh, I'm excited because I made you cry. But
when you're
that
crying,
being said,
you're invested.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
We're talking to this girl and we're not, I wouldn't want a listener to think like we're like leaning in hard on this
No.
kid. We're not.
No.
She's just a kid that was playing too much, probably said a curse word that she shouldn't have said, was getting maybe into it with somebody. Again, not abnormal behavior for a person of that age, 10, like at a playground. And what the purpose of today's the purpose of today's lessons or circle questions or even the talk at the beginning was the difference between play and work and how you kind of have to know what that is.
Yeah.
And many kids are just kind of just generally confused about the well, if you sat them down and asked them what the difference is, they would tell you the difference. But they don't internalize that, and then when they're in the middle of what might look like an unstructured time, even though you're telling them, okay, we're going to water for 20 minutes or whatever, they'll struggle to identify, okay, well, this is actually work time, not play time.
Yeah.
And so then you'll see them playing while they're working.
Yeah.
Which I don't care if they do that. That's whatever. You can do whatever.
But you start to play, and then all of a sudden, one kid is throwing dirt on another kid.
Right. And it's like, well, hey, we're at work. We don't throw dirt on each other.
Yeah.
And so when I say the bar has been raised, I'm not hearing like as much of that. Like I am starting to hear and see that those types of things are happening less and less.
Yeah.
And that the culture of the group is shifting away from playing too much.
Yeah.
And is now more invested in accomplishing the tasks. And, kind of using that same mindset that you were trying to teach the kids about, well, this is the project.
Yeah.
And if we finish the project in half an hour, great. Or if we finish it in 45 minutes, this is the project that we're doing. And when we're done, we are done. And we'll move on to the next thing. If there even is a next thing.
Yeah.
It might be snack.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So we're talking to this girl. And, whatever. She's doing whatever, a 10-year-old does. And I pulled her, you and I had kind of pulled her aside. And I kind of like to talk slowly to the kid and try to help them take a minute. Because if you're just like railing into them, you should have done this. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't think that they stop. And there was another kid, very, so my 301st kid to make cry. Same kind of thing. Like he left his group and he shouldn't have because he was mad about something.
Yeah.
And okay, well, but you can't.
Yeah.
And what happens, and so I asked the kid, what happens if you do that? Well, I have to leave.
Yeah.
And, he started to tear up just like this other girl because they don't want that.
Yeah.
If we can teach kids to, my sister talks about this all the time, like thinking about your future self, like your 9 o'clock in the morning self wants to be paid at noon, but you don't always remember that at 9:30.
Yeah.
Right? Like you don't always remember that. And so at 9:30, something happens and you want to go wander off, or at 10 o'clock, somebody's being obnoxious towards you, or you're finding someone else's behavior obnoxious and you decide to call them a bitch. Well, but that isn't great for your 12 o'clock self when you get paid, because that might, make you ineligible to be paid. And so you could tell that this girl was, I don't think that she would be talking about her future self at all, but you are,
because she's a 10-year-old.
She's 10.
Yeah.
But you can see you can see in her facial expressions that she was regretting some of the decisions that she made.
Yeah.
And she was kind of over by her mom afterwards, and her mom was talking to her. I don't know if her mom was really leaning into her or not.
I talked with her mom.
And I did too.
Yeah.
And I made the point to tell her mom, even though she did some things that she shouldn't have done, and then I mentioned to the mom that I do things sometimes that I shouldn't do, and she said, yes, I also do things that I shouldn't do.
Yep.
The thing I appreciated about this little girl was that eventually she took responsibility for it.
Yeah.
And I think that will make her better and less likely to do that in the future. Because we would never, it's so foolish. And even in a school, it's just so foolish to assume that the kids are going to arrive at the doors of the school, or in our case, the gates of the garden, and be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sure, we'll award perfection through bonuses or making you a student leader.
Yeah.
But it'd be really silly to assume that the kids that are walking through are going to be perfect, because first off, the adults aren't perfect, but they're kids.
Yeah.
And they're learning how to do all of this. And to be in a massive group of 150 kids and expect that all of your interactions are going to go super smoothly when like you're busy, you're working, you're trying to accomplish something.
Yeah.
You've got all these social, any kind of social strains going on around you. And there's a kid that you got into it with in 3rd grade and now you're in 7th grade. Like those things all are walking through the gate with the kid.
Yeah.
And so you would just never expect them to be perfect. And we don't expect them to be perfect, but we do expect them to continually get better as they go. And I've seen a lot of that over the summer.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite part today was, and there was a 10-year-old, and then there was like some 12, 13-year-old girls that were they were all getting on each other's nerves.
Sure.
And they were making fun, or they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing towards each other. And so one of the 12-year-olds, who she's been in my group quite a while, she was just getting so mad at this, at this 10-year-old. And I was like, why are you wasting so much energy on this? Like, and I'm like, you're 12, she's 10, and so it was really neat for her to see, like, why, like, does this person matter in your life? Like, in 10 years, are you ever going to think about this person? No. So why?
Probably not.
Why do you care? Why do you, and it was wonderful to see kind of the gears click a little bit, that, I was like, because you're going to be a really successful person. You're really thoughtful. You're really smart. And you need to focus on the good things and the wonderful things, and strive to be better and better in your own little sphere. And you don't need to worry about her. And so I think it was really wonderful. I felt wonderful being able to build her up. And I think she took away that she doesn't need to care about, don't sweat the small stuff, as my mom would say.
She would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just love it when these things kind of turn out this way. So we had too many kids again. We are always probably when there's only 3 more weeks, but we're going to have too many kids. and it always ends up being that there's a family that arrives. This was a different family than normal, but there's always a family that arrives, and there's like 5 or 6 kids, and you really like all 5 or 6 kids.
Yeah.
And they're all great, and you really do want them to be a part of things. Yeah. But the amount of money that is allocated per week, it doesn't really change.
Sure.
Right. And so, this morning, I was counting all the money, and I was like, I purposely at the bank did not take out extra because I was like, at some point we have to not just keep adding.
Yeah.
So, I had the number, and I drew up the tickets, and we hit that, and then we had about 10 more kids show up. And I gave them the same speech, like we might have room, we might not have room, and it was just really cool. So there's a woman that's been coming in and volunteering, and she handed me a couple of $20 bills, and that was enough to get that. Was actually enough to get that. We would not have had enough.
Oh, that's
had
really
it
neat.
Not been for that.
Wow.
And I just love when stuff like that works out. She didn't necessarily know that I didn't take out more than because a lot of times I'll have a little bit of extra just in case I screw up.
Sure.
And I felt pretty confident that I hadn't.
Yeah.
This week, but that allowed that basically that whole family, which is just great human beings all around, huge assets to the organization.
Yeah.
Being 15 years old and whatever. I think the oldest is like 15.
That's nice.
So that was really cool. But I just love when stuff like that works out, and that's kind of what this podcast sometimes is about. Is you want to accomplish something in the world, and we want to give as many kids as possible this experience. And there's, a group of kids, many of the kids come every week or almost every week. And you want that for them. Yeah. Because they woke up. I mean, it wasn't even like that the group that arrived last was late. I mean, it was like 7:30.
Wow.
So, you want them to come. Not just because I don't want to tell, their dad who drove them that they can't. Yeah. Or their dad/uncle, because some of them are cousins, but it's not just because I want to tell them no, because I'll go tell them no. That's fine. I can do that. But like all those kids really wanted that.
Yeah. And those kids, I mean, we have a lot of kids that come they're just such big helpers.
Sure.
That they help. There's a lot of kids that they're new, they don't know how to work, and then there's a lot of kids that have been coming to We Got This for a number of years, and they know how to work. And I love our student leaders, because even at the very end, some of our student leaders were like, here's how you need to get the kids to do what you want to do. And they just say it how it is, and they are right. And sometimes they can tell the kids themselves.
Well, I was just going to say, because then the next level is, okay, now how it's supposed to be, so why not just go make it how it's supposed to be. So we'll see what happens. I think that's been another kind of as the summer has moved along, another really neat thing is seeing the ways that people that we would consider to be kids have really stepped up their leadership, because you don't, and I say this like all the time, so it's probably redundant, but you don't take a class on leadership. I'm sure there are classes. I'm sure someone will sell you a leadership course, or you can buy DVDs in the mail.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe.
I don't think you can. I don't think that's a thing.
Get a book on tape about it. Like, I'm sure you can do
really
those
lots
things.
Of throwbacks here.
But you learn how to be a leader by leading.
Yeah.
And there was 2 kids that I was trying to shout out a little bit. We have a group that's not like super great at showing up like at the right time.
Yeah.
They get a lot done.
Yeah.
But they're different than you, Meg. They're like, we're gonna plow through this, and then we're gonna then we're gonna go on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But if there isn't a next thing, then
So
so I was real particular with these 2. Like, okay, you can't. And I felt like I was talking to our kids.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, you need to be back at the garden at 10. What time should you leave your garden to be back at our garden?
Yeah.
9:45. Well, it doesn't take you 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It takes 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the girl, really thought about it for a minute, and she's like, okay, actually, no, we should leave it like 9:58.
Nice.
And I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm like, well, you probably need to bring all the stuff back. So what time should you, be packing up your stuff? Oh, okay. Well, I don't know, probably 9:50.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And also then when do you want to tell everybody, hey, we have 5 more minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, at 9:45. So that the group knows,
Yeah.
okay, we're going to do this until 9:45. Then we're going to pack up, and then I'm going to tell you at 9:45 we got 5 more minutes, and at 9:50 we're going to pack up, and then we're going to leave here at 9:58.
Yeah.
And if you show up a minute early, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Just
You're not 15
now
minutes.
now you have a plan, and you're driving what's going on.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty cool to think about who might be some of the, so we have these adult leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And adult leaders are great. But I really like the idea of having senior and high school lead a group.
Man, with one of our kids, he keeps saying, when do I get my own group? When do I get my own group?
I don't know. Maybe we got to try it out. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, we'd have to order a different color wristband.
We would.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that on my list.
Yeah.
All right, Meg, you got anything you want to plug?
Yes. So at the end of the month, we are doing a big extravaganza, and I've talked about this before. So we're doing a back to school extravaganza, and all the kids come and they get to kind of pick out and take what they want. So that wish list is all set to go on. You can either find it on Facebook or on WeGotThisMKE.com. There's Amazon wish list. Feel free to buy any of those things and just bring them to the garden on Saturday or buy them on Amazon. Either one is great.
Yeah, and Meg, things have already started coming in.
Yeah.
I was checking the list. Maybe it was Friday morning. And today we're recording on a Saturday, so it would have been yesterday would be the day.
Thank you.
And I was checking the list, and it does seem like we've got the start.
Great.
So I think we're gonna be all right. So yeah, if you do want to buy something on the Amazon wish list, again, all that just goes to the kids.
Mm-hmm.
It'll come, it can come to the house and then get dispersed.
Or like we have a lunch lady who she's been finding deals, and then she just brings them on Saturdays, and that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a mom and you're already doing back to school shopping, and you see that the notebooks are 25 cents, and you want to buy 100 of them, it's $25. I used to buy notebooks for every kid in my class because they just wouldn't bring a notebook.
That's nice.
And then I would have extras.
Yeah.
And it was really helpful.
Yeah.
To have notebooks. So, but I would buy them when they were a quarter.
Sure.
And the people at the store would be so mad at me because there's like supposed to be a limit.
Oh.
And so then I would buy you could buy like 25. So then I would buy 25, and then I would buy another 25, and then I'd buy another 25, and then one more 25 for 100. So, all right, Meg. Anything else?
No.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.